All right, folks, we are live. If you're tuning in on the replay, thank you so much for being here. As always, it's a pleasure and a privilege for me to see the people who are coming into these live streams on the replay. We try to go 5 p.m. ish, normally UK time, which means we can speak to our American friends and our friends across the world, as well as the people just finishing off their day in the UK. It's working. It also means that I understand that some people aren't going to be able to make it, which is totally fine. So if you're tuning in on the replay, drop me a comment, #replay. Tell me where you are, where you're listening from. It's always super interesting to see where you are tuning in from, because this is an international show, people all over the world, which is awesome. Now, today's guest is somebody, I don't want to give away too much before I actually get into the proper introduction, but somebody that I met, I'm going to say in quite a vulnerable spot. Not the fact that they were in a vulnerable spot, but we both were, because we were both at a Tony Robbins keynote, and both in floods of tears is the best way to put it. So I'm very excited to have him on, because since meeting him at the Tony Robbins keynote, I've gone on to follow his content online. His content is top notch, and if you are somebody that is looking to make more money online, if you're somebody that needs to get more confidence in what you charge and improve the things that you charge for, and to essentially make more money per product, per service, then this is an interview you're going to want to listen to. It's going to be a good one. So I'm going to get started with the podcast. I'm going to start the intro, bring him onto screen. We're going to rock and roll. We're going to talk all about high ticket services and products. So selling high tickets, and should you sell high ticket, or should you stick to low ticket? And you're going to learn a ton, guys. I can see Julie tuning in from Coventry. Hey, Julie, thank you so much for being here. If you are tuning in live and you're not watching on the replay, also drop me a comment and tell me where you are listening from. And as you go through, and as you listen to this interview, watch this interview, then drop a comment with just some of the moments that you're like, oh my word, a penny has dropped, or I've had a light bulb moment. Because it's always great for me and the guests to see what's resonating and what you guys are liking. When we're live, if you ask questions, I won't be able to answer them, or we won't be able to answer them until the end, because it's obviously a podcast, and we don't want to make the people that are listening upset that they didn't tune in live. With that in mind, let's rock and roll, folks. I am going to hit record and start the introduction. Hey, you are listening to the Funnels and Growth Show. My name is Gavin Bell, and I've discovered a little bit of a problem. You see, too many entrepreneurs are great at what they do, but they never see true growth. All too often, they rely on luck, hustle, and hope to grow, which, as you probably know, is not the best marketing strategy. So in this show, I aim to uncover the secrets around creating a marketing system that allows you to build your audience, generate more leads, and acquire customers at a profit. Now, on today's show, we've got a guy who I met at a Tony Robbins keynote. We actually were sat right next to each other, and it's fair to say that we have shed some tears together. That was an intense keynote, but one that will always stick by me. And since then, we've followed each other online, and I just love what he has to say. You know, he's a guy that just makes so much sense, shares so much value, and I had to get him on the show. After spending over 7 years in corporate sales, selling high-ticket products like financial services, legal services, mortgages, he became fed up with the corporate 9-to-5 lifestyle, quit his comfy mortgage banker job, and with only a few $1,000s to his name, started his online journey. He's now gone on to turn over multiple six-figure months and teaches entrepreneurs how they can launch high-ticket coaching businesses. And I want you to go absolutely insane, because you are going to learn so much from this conversation. If you are somebody that has, wondered whether or not you should charge more, whether you should charge high ticket, whether you should charge low ticket, then this is going to be an interview where you learn a ton. So I want you, like I say, to go absolutely crazy as I welcome Mario to the show. Mario, hey.
What's up, brother?
It's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, man. It was wonderful shedding tears with you almost a year ago.
Yeah, it was. I was not expecting that.
No, neither was I.
I was expecting to, be laughing and jumping around, which we were. I wasn't expecting to be in floods of tears. So it was an experience. But I guess that's what you want.
Yeah.
It was good. It was, yeah. Man, what a keynote that was. But I just want to get stuck into the important, juicy stuff, which leads me to a farm. So something you don't know is I also grew up not on a farm, but right next to a farm. And rumor has it you grew up on a farm. But rumor has it on that farm, you managed to get a hatchet stuck in your head. I want to know this story. How did you manage to get a hatchet stuck in your head?
Oh man, so this is well, when it happened, it was a very traumatizing story for everybody in my family. But now, 20 years later, it's not so bad. So my cousin and I were walking through the orchard that my grandfather had, and he was 12, I was 5. We were getting kind of hungry. We're miles away from home, and we had a hatchet with us because we were just chopping down some hay, just earlier in the day. And he goes, you know what? Go stand under the tree. I'm gonna try to knock some of these apples down. And so I'm under the tree with my shirt out, just trying to, gather up anything I can, shaking the branches. He's shaking the branches. He's like, they're not coming down. Maybe if I hit them. And he throws the hatchet up into the tree, and I'm right underneath, just looking straight up. And this thing comes swinging down, and I don't move out of the way because I'm focusing on the apples. And all of a sudden, and I don't remember this is just what I was told, it hit me in the head. I kind of passed out after like a second, and there was just blood gushing down my face. And apparently he was 12, so 12-year-olds don't really handle crises all that well. So he panicked for about 10, 15 minutes before he realized he had to pick me up and carry me home. And I ended up in the hospital, waking up like a day or two later. But it was a crazy experience.
That sounds brutal. It's not really
it's a hardcore story. Yeah.
That's a way to start the show. Way to start it on a low, Gav. The hatchet to the head. Mario, high ticket is your thing.
Yeah.
I want you to just give a brief explanation to anybody that's listening that maybe like, what the heck is high ticket? So what high ticket versus low ticket is, and then tell me, why do you love it so much?
So high ticket sales and services are basically, for me, it's anything that's above like $3,000. When you're charging at that level, typically you're getting a different caliber of client, a different need that you're serving, and it's just higher level service. So the reason I love it so much is because I get to, when I charge people thousands of dollars, not only do I get to work more intimately with them and help serve them on a deeper level and over a longer period of time, but I don't end up resenting them for undercharging. And then I think that's one of the things that a lot of people who do done-for-you services or coaching that undercharge is what they struggle with, because it takes a lot to do these things. And when you're not charging enough, you're going to end up hating your clients. And they may not even show up or value it because they didn't pay that much for it. So my life changed, drastically as I started charging more and more and more. And it came from my corporate background where everything I was selling was in the thousands of dollars.
So it's kind of been would you say it's been a norm for you to charge lots?
It was a shift. So you'd think it was normal, but it was a huge shift for me because when I was charging thousands in corporate sales, it wasn't my product. I was selling the attorney's services or the mortgage bank services or the financial institution services like retirement plans and stuff. So I didn't really have to tie my name to it. It was their reputation. I was just peddling their stuff. But when it came time for me to do my own thing, I'll be honest with you, I undercharged at the beginning. I was way undercharging. I was doing free coaching, charging like a few $100. I was selling my courses for like a few $100 when they were worth thousands. And it was just because I didn't have that confidence in me to charge more. So yeah, it was a shift. It wasn't really a norm.
Yeah, I get that, and I think everybody goes on that journey, which is, me personally, I've undercharged enormously over my career to the point that I remember my first client. It was social media management services, and I was managing their Facebook, their Twitter, LinkedIn, and all that sort of stuff. So coming up with content every single day for them, and I remember sat in a cafe to do the sales meeting, or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And I remember, talking through what we were going to do. Is, yeah, we can post for you. We can do all this sort of stuff. We'll boost your engagement. In my head, I'm going, oh my God, he's going to ask me how much it costs. This part of the conversation is coming up. It's like starting to sweat. It's horrible. So he asks me, and I'm like, £125 a month. Like totally nervous. And he's like, okay, let's do it. And now I look back and I think £125 a month. That makes me feel ill to even think about charging that, never mind being scared that he's going to say no because it's too much money. So I think everybody goes on that journey. And you raise a really interesting point there about the caliber of the clients that you get when you work with high ticket, because again, I'm not necessarily saying that I undercharged in this point, but I used to have a membership site which was $49 a month, and what I started to find was that people did not value the content that was in there. And when I then turned that into like a higher ticket course, all of a sudden people started to get results. People started to enjoy it. You started to not get people complaining about it. All there was a shift in price, completely different caliber. So when it comes to high ticket offers, do you think that everybody should have one? Or is it only certain types of businesses, certain types of people that should have one?
That's a good question. I think, that is very interesting, because if I'm being honest, I don't think everybody should have one. I think to get into the high ticket space, you first have to have a skill set that other people want or value. If you're teaching people how to lose 1 pound a month, it's not really a high value thing. It's anybody can do it. So you have to be in what Russell calls like that prolific zone, where it's like you have a new opportunity, you have a new thing that you're teaching that not anybody else is teaching, and you have a process that gets results. So if you've gotten great results for yourself, and you know that other people would value to have those same results, yeah, you could totally have a high ticket program, and you should. But it's turning that into a repeatable system and process that anybody can follow. That's where most people get stuck. And that's typically why, even if they do charge high ticket, they end up, the customers fail, or, the program sucks. It's not generating the results that people want. So I think to get to the high ticket price point, you have to have something that's a validated offer and a validated process. And that can be done pretty quickly. I mean, you can find out if what you do works in a weekend. It doesn't take a very long time. But yeah, I don't think it's meant for everybody. I think it's just meant for those that want to work in that space and want to work like that with clients.
I love this answer. And the reason I love this answer is because I think it'd be very easy for somebody like you who teaches people, this sort of stuff, to say everyone should have a high ticket offer.
Right. That's the marketing answer.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone should have a high ticket offer and come work with me to see how to do it.
Right.
And it's also, I feel like it's also an easy answer, because there's a lot of people out there that teach marketing or teach sales, and they're often talking about how just put your prices up, and that's all well and good. I'm a massive fan of charging high ticket services, but what you say there is you have to have the process, you have to have the proven system that you can get results to be able to charge that price. You can't just charge a price and add a zero onto the price and expect people to get results, if you know what I mean. It has to be something that gets results and has value for people.
Right.
So I like that answer. It also reminds me of when we had Stephen Larson on the show, and we spoke about, coming up, like how should you come up with an offer, first and foremost. And the thing that he spoke about was, or the main question you need to ask yourself is, how can I be more useful? How can I be more useful? And that's the only question you need to ask yourself when it comes to creating an offer. And I kind of want to on to you as well. So when it comes to somebody's right, okay, well, I have a system, I have a process that I feel gets results. How should they start to structure that high ticket offer?
So to kind of piggyback on what Steve said and kind of add on to this and tell you about the structure, I first want to say that the way that I teach offers is an offer is not a stack slide. You know, it's not like bonuses and materials and hours of like whatever videos that people have. For me, in the high ticket space, an offer is a promise. That's all it is. It's if you show up and you do the work, this is what you're going to get. This is the result you're going to get. How you get there is through the process. So you have your promise, which is your offer. And that's all I do. Like when I get on sales calls with people, it's not, I don't guide them through the process on the sales call. I don't tell them what we're all going to do. I give them the promise of what we're going to do and a 30,000 foot view, you know, vision of what it's going to look like. As far as turning now that promise into a process, it's all about working your way back from the result. So if I know that, let's say, like, the best way to do this is to go through an example. If I know that somebody wants to get to 10K a month, which is like what everybody talks about, 10K a month, 10K a month. It's like the golden egg of this whole marketing space. To get to 10K a month, you need at least a $3,000 offer. To create a $3,000 offer, you have to provide something that is worth at least that, if not more than that, to the customer in the time frame that you're looking to deliver. And then it's how to get that result in 30 days or less. I used to do 90-day programs. It took way too long to actually deliver a result in a 90-day program because people drop off in month 2 and month 3. And that's why success rates drop down in accelerator type programs. So I started doing 30-day intensives. It's like, I'm going to get you to this result in 30 days. If I can't do it in 30 days, it's either because you came in with like not the right materials to make it happen in that time, or my process isn't refined enough to make it happen in that time. And so we refine. And then I break it down into weeks. Now for those, and I'm speaking strictly on coaching offers for the high ticket space. Courses are a little bit different. Masterminds are way different. But in a coaching, like a 30 to 60 day coaching type of thing, you got to break it down to the nitty gritty, week by week, checkpoints and things that you need to get done to get there. So if I have a 3K offer, I need to make 3 sales of it or 4 sales of it to make the 10K a month. How many sales calls do I have to hop on? Now I know if I teach somebody my sales framework, they'll close at least 50%. So I got to hop on at least 7 or 8 sales calls to get that number. Now to get those 7 or 8 sales calls, how many messenger conversations do I have to have? To get to 10 sales calls, you probably have to have about, it's going to sound like a crazy number, but it's doable in a month. You're probably going to have about 150 messenger conversations to get to that point, which means that you need to generate about 200 leads through your lead gen posts. So now we got to work on the first step, which is lead gen content that's going to get at least 200 raving buyers in the comments that we can turn into 150 conversations, into 7 or 8 sales calls, or into, I would say, 10 calls booked because 7 or 8 people actually show up to the call, into 3 or 4 sales. And if you can work it that way, it's just a funnel. It's top of funnel, bottom of funnel. And then you just scale up from there. And from there, we just go on to optimizing like what part of that process is the bottleneck, which part of it is like, am I losing the most, what do they call that? Throughput. That's the word, throughput. But yeah.
I want to just add into here. Mario did a perfect example of this. What he's talking of. I think, Mario, you posted it either today or yesterday. So we're recording this, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're listening to this, we recorded this interview on the 18th of November. So what I want you to do, and to be honest, Mario, by the time this goes out, will have probably done multiple of these posts. But what I want you to do is go to Mario's Facebook. So Mario, can you give people your Facebook URL?
Yeah, it's facebook.com/Coach Mario P.
So go to that link and you'll see on Tuesday, the 17th of November, Mario did a post. And it starts with, it starts with, so I did something a little bit crazy, and there's a picture of a chatbot. In that chatbot, he's got 252 comments.
That I haven't responded to yet.
Yeah. Now, he just mentioned in his framework, if you're watching this live, guys, go and check this out. So he just spoke about a framework there where if he gets 200 comments, people in the comments, that's going to equal 150 messenger conversations, which is then going to lead to 7 or 8 sales calls, which is then going to lead to however many sales, 3, 4, 5, whatever sales.
Yeah.
There's a framework. There's a funnel. There's a system you've just got on a free podcast. Go and check it out, do your homework, and watch what he's doing. So I just want to add that in. I just wanted to add that in because that, I mean, you've just dropped some absolute gold dust there. And I know when people are listening to podcasts, it's easy to let those things slide. Don't let that slide, guys. Go and check it out because he's doing it. He's doing what he's talking. No, he's doing what he's teaching. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. It's like he's not teaching what he's doing. He's doing what he's teaching. Whatever the way around it is.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I love this concept. When it comes to high ticket services, I know in my experience that the biggest thing that's holding people back from charging high ticket is a confidence issue.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it probably comes from a couple of places. One is it's scary asking for a lot of money, but it's also, I want to touch on something that you said, which was when you're charging high ticket, you need to have a system or a process or a promise.
Yeah.
I love that. I love an offer is simply a promise. And I think maybe there's a confidence issue that people come up there with is, can I actually deliver on that promise? So what I want to ask you, and that's kind of just me speaking what's on my mind right now. But what do you find is the biggest holdbacks from people launching a high ticket offer? And then if it is or if it isn't, I'd love for you to touch on the confidence side of things as well.
It's 100% a confidence thing. Like if they know what they can teach somebody is valuable and it's worth thousands of dollars and they're not charging thousands, it is 100% a confidence issue. And the only way to really solve that issue is you gotta. So in this space, we're stuck constantly comparing ourselves to everybody else. So if we're like, oh, I can help somebody, make 10K, but that guy's teaching people how to make 100K. Like I can't charge as much as that guy. And that's usually the biggest thing that keeps people from doing that. Like I got to charge 1/10 of what that guy charges. So if that guy charges 3,000, I got to charge 300. And so they think of it as like what they charge is equal to the value that they provide. And the biggest shift that came to me when raising my prices was it has nothing to do with the value I provide. It has everything to do with the skin in the game of the customer. Because I'll give you a story of when I really learned this, because my first group coaching program that I ran was $1,000 for 3 months, which is ridiculous because that's $300 a month. I was making less than minimum wage basically for what I was doing with these people. And we were doing calls every day. I was over delivering. We were going, crazy all the time. But at $1,000 a month, of the 20 people that signed up, which was great, cool, I made 20K. I would say only about 3 or 4 actually showed up to most of the calls of 20, which was insane. And I was like, why is nobody showing up to these calls? It's because they're paying $300 a month. They're paying less for my coaching program than they're paying for their car. And they don't use their car every day. They don't feel like, oh, I got to make sure I get the most out of my car. I got to hop in and drive it every day. Otherwise, I'm not making the most out of it. Like they don't have that mentality with their car. So why would they have that with my coaching program if I'm only charging that much? So I raised it to 2K. And then all of a sudden more people started showing up to the calls. But I didn't have anybody really break through on the results side until I raised it to 3K. And at 3K, I signed up somebody who was a former 2 Comma Club winner. They'd never charged anything more than $500 for what they offered. And they basically just offered to sign up with me before I even made the offer to work with them. They were like, yeah, where do I buy? Where do I sign up for this? And I asked them, I was like, why are you paying me 3K for this? Like you've already done $1 million. You have all the social proof you need to launch whatever you want. They're like, and they said something to me that like shifted my mind, which was, I wouldn't feel right charging somebody else this much unless I first had invested this much myself. And I was like, huh. So and then what we ended up doing was we launched a $6,000 program for them that following month. And they did, I think, a little over 120K that month. in revenue. So they crushed it, but that's because they needed first to be like, for me to feel comfortable charging this much, I first have to invest this much. And so I started to see it that way, where because I had invested 30,000 literally 2 months before, so I felt okay charging 3K. I was like, yeah, of course, I'll charge 1/10 of the price. But it's a lot of times it's you not investing in yourself is causing you to have that discomfort of charging more because you don't know what that looks like when you're in somebody else's program. The other thing that's the confidence issue is the not knowing if you can deliver results, and you won't really know if you can or can't until you actually take somebody through your process. And in order for them to go through your process, they have to pay enough money to actually implement the steps. Because I went from charging 3K to 4K to 5K to 7K. Now I charge 18,000 for like a year-long mastermind with me. Like the price just has gone up over and over. And right now, like charging the $1,500 a month that I charge now for the group coaching that I do, I'm at 100% success rate because everybody that's in the program implements. They're paying 5 times more for my program than they pay for their car. They're paying just as much for my program as they pay for rent, and they live in their house every day, you know? So it's just as important. It's on the same level of importance. And so they show up.
That's such a good way of looking at it. I love that the car analogy. Like you're paying the same amount, you're paying less for a program than a car, yet you don't use your car every single day.
So why would you use the program every day?
Yeah. That's such a good way of looking at it. I love that. And I also love the analogy of the 2 Comma Club winner. You know, you need to invest in high ticket in order to have the confidence to sell high ticket. And it's so true. And I have felt that myself, like spending thousands and thousands of dollars in coaching, in courses, in masterminds has given me the confidence to then be able to go, well, no, I can do that too. In fact, I had somebody quote me 60,000 for coaching. And again, that was another moment where I was like, whoa, like their sales ability on the phone and what they were offering to me was no different to what I offer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, their price was 60,000. Mine's definitely not 60,000. I was like, wow, that's, you know, if someone else is doing it, then it's obviously possible.
Oh yeah.
So I think a lot of this maybe comes to, I'm talking from my experience here of, you know, from my journey of being like somebody that charged 100 quid to now thousands, is it's almost like you have to up level your game in the people that you're hanging around and the people that you're chatting to.
Yeah.
You know, like me and you having this conversation and we're talking about charging thousands, it's the norm.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're speaking to people at, you know, your local networking event, for example, and they're charging like hundreds, then that's your norm. So it's like, it's almost like up leveling the people you're with, and that then up levels your ability to think in a certain way.
Right.
Is really interesting.
Yeah.
It's so interesting how a lot of this is just, you know, mindset shifts.
Yeah. Most of it is. I mean, my first 100K month, for me, it was just like an expectation of the program I was in. Like, yeah, you're going to do that. It wasn't like some big goal or accomplishment. It's like, oh, 17 other people have done it before you in the last like 2 months. You're next. You know, so when it happened, my life didn't change all that much because my mind was already there. Like, oh yeah, this is normal. It's the standard. You know?
I love that.
And it totally is affected by the people that are around you. Because if you see people winning around you and it's just normal for them, then you being with them, it's normal for you too. You should also do 6 figures a month. You should also be breaking $1 million run rate. You know,
I love it. It's the norm. It's not a massive big thing. It's just, yeah, you will hit that if you follow this process. In which, I mean, that program you talk about that you were in, that's you following their process, which allows them to charge the high ticket service. I'm sure you didn't spend 100 quid in a program that is making you 100K a month. So,
right.
There we go. Mario, you've got your ACED framework or ACED framework. Tell me a little bit more about that.
So it's just simple. You know, it's kind of like the marketing funnel. It's attraction, conversion, enrollment, and then delivery. And it's having one process for each one of those things. What's your process for attracting people into your into your web of influence? How are you converting those people that have now been attracted into actual leads and conversations and sales calls? How are you enrolling those people into your, and enrollment is, I'm not strictly talking about enrolling them into your program. I'm talking about enrolling them into your methodology, into your mindset, into your, into your frameworks, and having them not just buy in with their money, but buy in with their minds and their hearts too. And then delivery of that stuff. How do you deliver it in a way that generates results? And it's just, it's kind of like a self-feeding thing, because as you get more results, now you're attracting better people. Conversions become a lot easier. Like when you get this little 4-step thing perfect, I haven't yet done a cold DM to anybody, I would say in the last 7 or 8 months, because I've dialed in my attraction, conversion, enrollment, and delivery to where the results for my delivery attract the people that want to get those same results. They convert. I don't send them a DM. I got a message yesterday from somebody that I hadn't talked to in about 7 months saying, hey, I would love to know more about your coaching program. I don't know if I would be a good fit, but I'm looking to make $200K this year. Can we have a chat later this afternoon about, how you can help me do that? I didn't message this guy. He's somebody that I've known from my wrestling days, from way back in the day. But he's paid attention. He's been attracted into my network. And now he's converting into a lead. And at 2 p.m., I'm going to hop on the phone with him, and he's probably going to enroll. And then I'm going to deliver results, and he's got the stuff to do 20, 30K a month pretty easily in the next month. He had a business that was doing 6 figures a month before the collapse. So it's simple.
It sounds to me like you're very process system driven as a.
Yeah, I wasn't for a very long time.
So what was the change for you?
Lack of consistency. And I realized that when I didn't have processes and systems for every step of my customer journey and my marketing and my sales, I was doing like 80% of the stuff that was providing only about 20% of the results. I was flipping the Pareto principle. I was doing 80% of the work that was generating almost no results. And when you have a kid and you got duties and responsibilities, which I just got, this last year, you can't really, kind of guess at what you need to do every day. You got to have processes, because I'm done it with work by 6:30 every evening. I don't touch my, my work stuff after that time, and I don't start work until 10 a.m. So when I didn't have a kid, I'd work early morning through late evening, and it didn't matter. But now I got responsibilities. So everything turns into a process so that I can get what I need to get done in the shortest amount of time possible.
Yeah. And with your ACE framework, when you talk about having a process and a system behind each of those stages, do you have, one main process or system for each one, or do you have multiple different ways?
I have multiple ways in case one stops working or one doesn't work that well. But I only, so far they haven't stopped working. Like that post yesterday, that's my one lead gen framework. Every time I've made that type of post, I've gotten hundreds of comments, and I'm filled up on leads for months to come. Like all those 250 people that have commented, I'm going to be good for the next 2-3 months on leads, because my conversion is not 250 comments into 150 conversations into 10 calls. It's more like 250 conversations, because every single one of these people is going to respond to me. When I call it a conversation, it's if they respond to my outreach, and then it's probably going to end up turning into 40 or 50 calls booked.
So, let's talk a little bit about this in case people don't go and check it out. So let me give a little bit of context. So Mario's basically put a post on Facebook here where he's, talked about doing something a little bit crazy. He's taken his framework, so his one content framework, his one lead gen framework, his one messenger framework, and he's put it into one bot. And he's taken a picture of this massive bot framework, and he says, drop coach bot below for people that want to get it. And so he's got 250 comments, 252 comments so far, people saying, coach bot, they want this thing. So Mario, once somebody has done that, so they comment saying coach bot, what happens next? How do you turn that into getting somebody down into conversion and enrollment and then delivery?
So that's the first step of conversion. They've already been attracted to my profile for my content in other groups. So this is the first step of conversion, is actually getting them interested in something that I've created or that I'm about to launch. Once they comment on this post, I ask them, since I have 250 comments, I'm not going to go into 250 DMs. It's ridiculous. I'm going to automate this. And I've learned to automate and turn everything into some sort of delegation or automation in the last year. But all these people are going to be fed into a chat bot that qualifies them. Then it's going to offer them the coach bot. It's not going to be free chat bot. So for those of you who are hoping it was free, it's not, because it's literally my frameworks for my coaching program that people pay $5,000 to $18,000 for. I'm putting them in a bot. So it's going to cost a little bit of money, but all these people are going to turn into buyers, and they're still just leads. They're not yet like where I want them to be as far as, in my process, but now I'm being paid for lead gen instead of paying for lead gen, which is what Russell taught, which is like, every time he gets a lead, he's made $120 something already, which turns the whole industry on its head, because now you're getting paid to generate leads. So all these people are going to be turned into like $50 or $100 leads that have been paid for already. Once they go through the coach bot, it's got a ton of value in there. They're going to be like, this is amazing. I want to know how you can help me implement a lot of this stuff. Because what I teach in there is going to get these people to start selling and converting and generating their own leads. Now they're going to need to know how to, kind of tweak it for their own systems and processes. And that's when we continue the conversation,
And you take people up the value ladder.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, this is absolute gold. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I presume you've got main packages, i.e. high ticket services or products that you provide. So
Yeah.
you mentioned coaching, you mentioned 18K mastermind. Like, do you have like 3 or 4 main products or services that you offer?
I basically only have one.
Okay.
So I simplify. I have the one main offer is my group coaching, which is also the mastermind itself. And that's $1,500 a month. I do sometimes, I'm super picky on who I work with one-on-one, because it costs a lot, but also the results are a lot more fun because we work like every day together on calls. And I currently only have one-on-one student, but that's also available if somebody wants to work a little bit more intimately with me. Usually I just bring people into the group program, and if they like the stuff in there, and they want to work with me one-on-one, then we have that conversation.
Awesome.
But I like to protect my space when it comes to that.
Quite right. So you've got your main program.
Yeah.
So when it comes to then getting people into that program, and I mean, we've talked enough about your framework, and people can go and just look at your profile and see how you're doing it. But
yeah.
How are you coming up with whether you want to call them lead magnets or offers, or the chatbot example? Are you doing that strategically? Are you thinking different ways to bring people in? So the different posts, the different offers to get people into becoming a lead, or how do you come up with those ideas?
Usually it's to solve one of my own problems, and then it ends up solving their problems too. So the coach bot was because I just have a ton of people always asking me questions all the time, and the answers are always the same 3 or 4 answers every single time. And I was like, man, if I'm answering this stuff every single time the same way, like I could go one of 2 ways for this. I could create a course area that answers these questions, but then they got to watch the whole content to get the answers. Or I can put it through a chatbot where I ask them questions and get them the exact answer they need every single time. And it just loops. Once they get their answer, it loops back to the beginning. All right, what do you need help with now? Marketing, sales, or delivery? And they go to marketing. Okay, where are you struggling with marketing? Is it this, this, this? Boom. And then they go through it and they get the exact answer they need every single time. So I created this first for my students, my existing current students, and they've been using it for like the last week or so. And it's just to kind of help me with delivery. Now they don't have to ask me or message me about it. They just go to the chatbot and it answers it for them. And then I realized, like, this is super valuable. Plus it takes none of my time to deliver because it's automated. So it's a tool I created for people I already, serve and who pay me a lot of money. And I realized I could give this to anybody and they can use it. And if they want to dive deeper and show up to coaching calls, they can sign up to work with me in the coaching. So that's how I ended up turning into a lead magnet. Same thing with my I did another lead gen post just like this one back in September. Literally the exact same framework for the lead gen post, got hundreds of comments on it, I think a little over 300. And that one was a one-page process for enrolling high-ticket clients. And I created that first for my students because they just needed something simple to follow without all the theory and tactics and all the other stuff behind it. Just like step by step, 4 steps to enroll anybody into my program. And then I offer that as a lead magnet. So I just create stuff for my students and then offer them as lead magnets, like little pieces to the world.
That's awesome. Solve your own problems and solve the problems of your students, and then just offer it to people.
Yeah.
Epic. Mario, it's time for us to now play a game.
Let's do it.
It's time for the game round. Like the Hunt Games, but on a podcast.
The rules are simple. Well, first of all, have you ever heard of the 5-second rule?
No. What's that?
Awesome. Cool. So I have 10 cards here. Each card has a statement on it, and that statement is going to be completely random. I have no idea what it is. I read that statement out, and you have to then give me your answer within 5 seconds. So an example might be name 3 types of ice cream, and you've got 5 seconds to say strawberry, chocolate, vanilla. That's the name of the game. If you get the card, you get the point. If you don't, you don't. The highest score that we've had this season was Alex Sharfin with a 9 out of 10 score. So let's see if you can equal or better Alex. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do this. Okay, these things can be so random. First one is pretty random. Name 3 things that need replacing.
Toothbrush, toothpaste, toilet paper.
Oh, wow. That was a good start. Name 3 characters in the Harry Potter stories.
Harry, Ron, and Hermione.
Nice. Name 3 things beginning with the letter N.
Night, nap. I can't.
Time.
Hard.
Time is out. Name 3 animals or birds beginning with the letter M for Mike.
Mockingjay, macaw, and
Time's out.
meerkat. Damn it.
Name 3 historical events.
What? 9/11. I don't know. I can't guess.
Lucky. Name 3 storybook characters.
Storybook characters: Harry, Ron, and Hermione.
There we go. There we go. Good job. Good job. Name 3 tiny things.
Tiny things: pencil, this clicker, and my camera.
Nice. 1 second to go. Name 3 newborn baby gifts.
Pacifiers, blankets, and sleeping bags.
Oh, time's out. Oh, unlucky. Name 3 places with a swimming pool.
The gym, the Olympic Swimming Center, and my backyard.
Okay, the final one. Name 3 women's makeup items.
Lipstick, eyeliner, and lip liner.
There we go. Finish strong. That is your questions that you got 5 out of 10,
All right.
which is
Good enough.
okay. Okay.
They're
That's
so
all-
random. Like my mind's just jumping around trying to think of
It's a tough game. It's a tough game.
things with the letter N. I didn't know it was so hard.
When you have 5 seconds, it just feels like everything is hard.
Right?
So we're going to wrap things up with the rapid fire round. It should hopefully be slightly easier. Let's do this.
Awesome.
Time for the rapid fire round. 10 questions, 10 answers, no context. Are you ready?
I'm going to ask you 10 questions. You've got to give me an answer, but you're not allowed to give me any context to that answer unless I ask for some context.
Okay. All right.
So,
Interesting.
first one is, what is your favorite book?
The Giver.
I haven't heard of that, but I can check
Old.
it out. I love old books. Old books are always the best. What's your favorite word?
Coach.
What's your most hated food?
Oh. Celery.
Yeah, celery. Celery's a bit bland, isn't it? What's your biggest pet peeve, either business or personal?
unoptimized processes.
Oh,
Ugh.
that's a good one.
They make me sad. They make me cry.
What was your dream job as a child?
Paleontologist.
Okay, paleontologist. What even is that? I don't.
That's where you study dinosaur fossils.
Ah, okay. Very cool. Very cool. What's your favorite music genre?
Rock.
I definitely had you down as a rock man. What's your drink of choice?
Alcoholic? I mean,
Any.
any drink of choice? Lemonade.
Oh, no one said lemonade. That's a quirky choice. Are you a morning or a night person?
Night.
Would you rather cuddle a baby panda or a baby chimpanzee?
Panda.
Panda always. And what is one final parting piece of advice you would like to give the beautiful listeners? It can be anything.
Can be anything. Take care of yourselves.
Nice. That's a good way to end the show. Especially, I mean, when this goes out, I hope that COVID, it'll be in a few weeks' time. So I hope that COVID will, hopefully be past. But take care of yourselves. Just generally good advice for any time in life. Yeah. Mario, I'm not exaggerating when I say this. This has been absolute gold, and I know that people that are listening to this will have absolutely loved it. So please tell everyone where they can learn more about you, your coaching program, what you get up to, and all of those amazing things.
Well, you can learn about me by just adding me on Facebook at facebook.com/CoachMarioP. And you can check out that little chatbot that you talked about at coachbot.chat. And that'll take you straight into it. And you guys can see it, check it out if you want to, get it if you want to. But yeah, the best way to kind of get into my circle is just to add me on Facebook and start a conversation. I don't yet have a website or a funnel.
Well, I mean, look at that. We often talk about what are things that you need to do in business. You don't have a website, but you're doing multi six figures a month. Yeah. So it just goes to show that what you have spoken about today and what you've taught about today works. So guys, even if you don't want to go and add Mario on Facebook, go check Mario out on Facebook and just see what he's doing. It'll bring everything that we've spoken about to life. And Mario is one of those people where, as I scroll my feed, his posts are ones that I actually read, which is going to say, because there's a lot of crap on my newsfeed. If you've enjoyed this show, folks, drop a 5-star review. Let us know that you enjoyed it. Hit subscribe as well, and all of those fun things. And Mario, are you on Instagram?
No, not actively. I have.
Not actively.
Yeah, well, I don't even use it. But you can find me at Rank One Geek.
There we go. Rank One Geek. I was going to say, take a screenshot on the device that you're listening to and tag us on Instagram, or just send it over to Mario and let us know what's the main thing that you took away from today. Let us know that. It's always good to know. Thanks so much for listening. I appreciate you. Mario, I appreciate you for coming on. Thank you so much. And everybody, I will see you in the next episode.
Bye, everybody.
Boom. Podcast done. We are still live.
Yes.
Some great comments. Julie, Samantha, Martin in Carlisle, John Aop from Yorkshire, Andrew Morrison from East Lothian, who has tagged his pal David, saying this is interesting. Julie says, I'm running free stuff as I'm starting out. Years of experience, but new to working for myself. Stop doing free stuff, Julie.
No free stuff.
Sagar says, awesome. Julie loves this concept, so good. Arihant says, say my name, boy. Julie says, I had 105 hits to my website in 24 hours and converted 10 to sign up. This was for a free challenge. I'm hoping to go on and learn. Well, let's get those people that are in the free challenge into something paid. That's the next goal. Yeah. And Natural Devon says, hey, it's Devon from Cincinnati. I just signed my first client. Awesome, dude. That's exciting. For those of you that are listening live or watching live, thanks so much for being here as always. And if you're tuning in on the replay, again, thanks so much for being here. Drop us a comment with the number one thing that you took away from today's show, regardless of the platform you're watching on, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, or Periscope. Don't know if anyone watches on Periscope, but I ticked that box because it's there to tick. So thanks so much again. It's been an absolute pleasure. Go check out Mario's work. It is amazing stuff. You will love it. And yeah, I will see you in the next show, which will probably be next week or the week after.
Awesome.
Cheers, folks.
All right, brother.